So if you're a security and compliance kind of champion, I guess, within an organisation, one of the challenges I think they often face is the battle with senior leadership. You need time, resource to go and implement these things. How, what kind of tips could you give them to go and have that conversation? What can they do to give themselves the greatest opportunity of actually winning?
You've got to put yourself in their seat, right? I mean, when you're a leader, I mean, it's sometimes quite hard. I mean, I certainly have to do that in my role, right? In the business, I have that difficult. I probably have a more difficult balancing act than most people, because I'm sitting there thinking, we're a cybersecurity company. I have to take cybersecurity super seriously, and we have to invest a lot of money in it because we're a cybersecurity company. But on the flip side, I'm still having to run a business and keep it effective, lean, efficient, making money. So the balancing act is really difficult. But I think ultimately, if you can sit down and go, right, these are our risks, this is the areas where we need to invest the most money in cybersecurity. When you go to the business and you say, look, I've tried to be as efficient as I can, and I've worked out that here are all our key risks. This is where we're likely to get hit the most. I'm not saying that we won't get hit in all the other areas, but these are the areas which, if I've only got a finite amount of budget, I'd like to go and spend my time and money on. You can demonstrate to the business that you've understood the strategy and the business needs, and you've gone in with a better approach than just saying, oh, I need 50 grand worth of spend on cybersecurity or whatever. Then suddenly the business goes, I get it now. Okay, it makes sense. Like, that's going to help us to stay protected. It's not going to be a ridiculous amount of money. It doesn't sound like it's going to give tangible evidence, give us something to deal with. Or in the scenario of like a SIEM product, if they've been burnt before, actually I want to take a different approach this time. We tried to do it ourselves, didn't quite work. It was because we're just not experts in this field. We're going to go to some experts and do it instead. They will then be able to see it as like, okay, bad thing that we spent all that money on the thing that's not really working. But the good news is you've realised where we've gone wrong, and you're going to take a different approach. Go into a business and saying, I know I spent 50 grand on SIM last year and it didn't, and it's not working, but I'm going to go spend 50 grand again. You've not changed anything there over you in that mix. I think you've got to get buy-in from business to understand that if this is not going away, and if anything, the customers are going to be more savvy, whether it's a consumer of a B2C company or whether it's a B2B. Consumers are seeing more and more in the news about their data being leaked, and they don't want that. So they'll go to a business that they'll be more savvy about cybersecurity, or feel more protected, or have more comfort in the business. And from a B2B perspective, they absolutely will 100% needing to meet their own compliance obligations, and or are concerned about their suppliers being breached, because it's in the news all the time. Suppliers being breached. Microsoft's breaches have sometimes been due to some third party they use being breached, and they then got access to people like Microsoft.
We've covered an awful lot of ground. We've talked about all of the new kind of technologies that are out there, and the acronyms that come with them, and the challenges that come with them. Obviously, the move to kind of cloud, and a lot of businesses using the tooling that comes with those with those services. And I think it kind of all boils down to businesses really kind of thinking hard about, do you want to be a cybersecurity company? Are you a cybersecurity company? And I think in most cases the answer is no. You want to specialise in the thing that you're good at, and that's the thing that's going to make your business successful. And I think the answer to the whole is managed SIEM kind of dead. Is it going anywhere? The answer is a resounding no. I think it gives you great context, and I think if that's coupled with a really skilled and experienced kind of SOC team, those two things combined give businesses access to a level of expertise and a level of maybe protection that they wouldn't have otherwise.
I think fundamentally it's come to I guess put it into simple terms, is that I think there's just a bad taste in the mouth a lot of the time around SIM technologies, because it is complicated. There's no getting around it. Like, when you think about what you've got to do to make that product work, it's not as straightforward as just install a piece of software and it starts to detect and respond things, which I think is very attractive for businesses. And as you say, organizations thinking about whether they really want to be a cybersecurity company and invest in bringing people in to have that cybersecurity expertise, people should really think about whether that's a good use of their resources and money. Like, it's going to be expensive. Like, cybersecurity talent and people like that demand quite a high salary. Do you want that? And the benefit you get by going to another organization, an outside organization that can give you that context and color, and rather than you just doing it internally and having one person working on it, is that you've got many people, and also a lot of businesses have got broader experience than just a few people in the team that can help when there is a scenario where it's new or evolving, or just to give you a bit more color and context. So I think for most businesses, I think if you really asked them, they wouldn't want to do that. They just want to know that they've got somebody that can help them proactively try to block as many attacks as possible, but be ready to respond in the event that something bad has happened, and give them a comfort that if they ever need to pick the phone up, they can just speak to somebody. Why wouldn't you want that? But every business is slightly different, and I think there's a misconception around the value you get versus the money you spend. So I think there's an element of the security industry needs to get better at helping to provide a solution that fits the price point for the businesses that they're trying to sell to. And also that the solution they're getting from them is that kind of like, sometimes they want a white glove service for a low value, and it's difficult for a cybersecurity company to offer that capability. But we've got to innovate as cybersecurity providers to give them that solution that gives them the right balance between cost and service.
Thanks for the chat, Ollie. That's been really insightful. I think hopefully that gives businesses some really canny tips on things to think about when considering managed SIEM.
It's been great. It's been a pleasure.